Becoming one. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving, godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One. Becoming One. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving, godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One.
Wife Hermione Regis, we would like to welcome you tonight to our program. We're having a little problem there with the visual, but it will just clear up in just a bit. So just give us a minute as we deal with this technical difficulty. But we're happy to have them on tonight for this wonderful discussion.
Wow.
Yes, let our technician just take care of that.
Just give us 1 second and we'll deal with that. All right? Nah.
All right. Well, I'm seeing you much, much better now. So welcome to the Regis. Well, I can't say Regises. That sounds kind of funny.
It's okay.
So welcome, and how are you both doing this evening?
Very well.
Very well, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. So welcome to Hope again, 103.1 FM, and we want to welcome you to our program, Becoming One. It really is a pleasure to have you both with us tonight. Maybe you can say a little hi to the listening audience out there. Tell us maybe a little bit about yourself before we begin tonight's discussion. Maybe just for those who might be hearing you just for the first time.
A pleasant good night to everyone. I am the beautiful wife of Evangelist Abraham Regis, who is tall, dark, and handsome.
All right.
That's what I asked for in prayer. And this is what the Lord blessed me with.
Yes.
I'm so delighted. Yeah. We've been married now for almost 20 years.
Yep.
And we have something really good going on.
Nice.
Loving it.
I love it.
So yeah, we're having a grand time. We've been we have a ministry called Soul Generation Ministry, and we have been working in Grenada particularly for the last 17 years together, doing evangelism across the nation. Awesome. And well, by profession I'm a HR practitioner. I also am a professional counsellor and trainer. Over to my husband.
All right. Evangelist Regis.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be here again. Ready to share this special topic. I mean, I like evangelism. I know that by now. But I also like to see a marriage fulfill the fullest potential and to fulfill God's plan for marriage. My wife just didn't mention it, but we presently doing a series on a marriage conference at the Baptist Church, Grand Baptist Church, every last Friday of the month. Yeah. And sex will be one of the topics, no question about that. Yeah. We really want people to understand the holisticness of sex. I think it's a good topic for us, and I'm really looking forward to really sharing on that, because it's a very important part of marriage, and we've seen the benefit of it.
Awesome. All right, great. Awesome. Well, tonight it's very simple. We're talking about sex.
That's right.
It seems to be a taboo topic in Christianity.
Yeah.
Like people tend to feel like
generally it's taboo.
Christians should not talk about sex.
It's like a taboo word, right?
Yeah.
I just wonder why when we talk about sex, why does everybody laugh? We all seem to laugh.
It's weird,
I
right?
don't know. I don't know. And look at us, we're doing the same thing. We're laughing.
It's weird that
All right.
people respond and behave that way.
I don't know.
It's kind of weird, for real.
But I have a question that I want to start off tonight's discussion with. Why? Why was sex really created? Why was sex created? We know that everything that was created by God. So we know that God created sex.
Yeah.
But can we search the scriptures? Can we seek the mind of God, the Spirit of God to... Why do we think? Why do you think sex was created?
All right, I want to start by saying I think sex is something that God created with a plan in mind.
All right.
As we were saying earlier, the taboo is not really something that people think is the devil's thing. Or a matter of fact, the thing that people don't want to discuss most is that's what is most challenging in most marriage. That's what causes the most problem in the church.
True.
Right.
Sex.
That's right.
I actually tell people that if God cannot have no control over your sex life, then you have no control over your life.
Right.
And I think sex in marriage is designed so that God can really has control. In other words, He gives you that privilege to honor Him and to worship Him.
Right.
And a lot of people don't see sex as a part of worship, but it's a part of worship.
Yes.
right.
A matter of fact, lately, I want to say that on television, lately, we will go to China. That's what we use now. That's a new way of putting it.
All right.
For those who have children close by. We go to China, and right after the plane land, we would start worshiping. Yeah, we would start worshiping, and
Yes.
we could break off in worship. We could go, intercession. It's amazing. It just started happening lately only.
I understand.
It shows that because one, you are naked and unashamed,
Yeah.
Right.
and two, you are honoring God.
All right.
The Bible says marriage is honorable.
Yes.
Above all, and the bed is undefiled.
Right.
But whoremongers and the Lord will judge. So I think God made sex to design sex so that to see how we honor Him.
Right.
But He also brings us pleasure.
Yeah, that's right.
It brings us pleasure.
That's right.
It was created for recreation, procreation.
Yes, procreation.
That intimacy is impartation. Impartation. I think sometime after you just have your sexual, interval, you can feel definitely that connection is made. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're away from each other for a long time. I tell people I don't know how people could stay, so long, from sex. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's natural. Some people say months. Yes, I can do it. I travel, and by the time a month, my body feeling kind of crazy.
You speak a book.
Yeah, and I want to, because it's designed to come together.
Right.
Because even Paul said, he said, when you're married, even if you set aside yourself for prayer for a season, don't leave it indefinitely.
That's wisdom.
Come back together.
That's
because
wisdom.
that coming back together, it brings that oneness, it brings that, impartation, it brings that, it's that closeness. I'm telling you, get in Revelation, and people say, sometimes people, have the release and they say, why must man die? Why should man die? But it shows that level of, let's be honest, sex is actually, is the height of pleasure.
Right. I believe.
It's the height of pleasure.
Yes.
You have a newborn baby, you have a new car, a new house, a lot of things, people win awards, but there's nothing that gravitated as sexual release, sexual gratification,
Right.
a sexual pleasure. But God designed that because He knows that the pleasure we have in knowing Him and having a relation to Him is really is interconnected. That's why the Bible connect marriage as Christ's relation to the church. Mm-hmm. So that closeness. If you enjoy sex, you'll appreciate God, and also you'll understand what it is to have a pleasure with God. And in my experience, I mean, we're married for 20 years, and we're still on honeymoon, yeah. But in my in my experience over the years, the only thing that I feel top sexual pleasure is
Prayer.
that time with God,
All right.
that intimacy with God. Because the thing is that when you have sex, you have to, after a couple of days, where you know, say 72 hours, and then a man want to recharge, want to shoot again, you know. Dollars, he put back a bullet again and ready to shoot. But
It's cycle.
a cycle. You have to
Yeah.
do it again and again. But Jesus, that's what we say. Even today, I was thinking about it. He is satisfied. So you can look to a spouse for that kind of satisfaction. But if you get to the level of that sexual intimacy, then you'll understand what is at the top, and you'll want that at the top, which is that intimacy with the Lord.
All right.
Amen. Amen.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
I believe that that God created sex, and in mind He had several things in mind.
Go ahead.
Yes, and most people will tend to look at sex, and let me put it as the holier than thou kind of Christians. It's there for procreation. It's there for us to, because yes, the Bible did say in Genesis 1:28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
Right.
Yes, so I believe that
Procreation.
Yes, that is also a reason why God
Yeah,
created
a
sex.
joke right here. Some people say, boy, when they saw that in the Bible, be fruitful and replenish the earth. Some people say, I see my name, but I didn't see it too many times. In that, they say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to have plenty children. You know, so some people say, I didn't see my name, they replenish. Okay, 2, and that's it. I didn't see my name there. I don't know, Pastor, I think I heard say that. I didn't see my name there. But it's speaking to all of us, basically.
Yes.
You understand?
It is there for procreation. That's one reason. But I love that reason that you know it's there for pleasure as
Pleasure
well.
too.
There are some people, some religions, I don't know, with some strange beliefs that you know this thing is just there for procreation, but it's there
That's what I'm saying.
as well
Some
for
people
pleasure.
just
Look at it, the book of Songs of Solomon.
That's right.
Yeah.
I took out a
Awesome.
portion here from the book of Songs of Solomon. Now listen to this. From chapter 4, verse 10 and 11, it says, how fair is thy love, my sister, my spouse. And this, I think this is the NIV version.
Yeah.
How much better is thy love than wine, and the smell of thine ointments than all spices. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb. Milk and honey are under thy tongue, and the smell of thy garments is like the smell of Lebanon. Come on, you're telling me this is not pleasure?
In these days, a man will say that man are real vibes, boy. Yeah, real vibes.
This is for
You know?
pleasure. Yes.
But another, and I would love Sister Ree just to
No,
give
go
her.
ahead.
No,
I'm enjoying this.
no, but we love for you to, you know, just we want amongst it. We don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
it.
yeah, no
So
problem.
I know your husband gave his, wife gave one. Yeah, you go ahead. That's okay. I'm a talker. When I start talking, I just talk. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, sex is a very, very important part of Christian marriage, particularly. Like Sister Linnell was saying, some Christians seem to feel that it's just, I think it's because of what the world has made it. And a lot of marriages or couples, based on where we have come from, sometimes what can happen is our perspective or our perception of sex is wrong. And so, you know, it's like we have to be renewed in our mind, because many of us kind of we were not born under the pulpit. So, you know, when I'm a counselor as well. So my husband and I, we also counsel couples. And one of the problems for a number of couples is sexual intimacy. And, you know, sometimes it can be, you know, we're not getting enough, or we're getting too much, or we're getting,
Too little.
you know, it's too hot, or it's too cold, or
All
it's
right.
too, or it's too dry, or it's too
Right.
you know, there's lots of issues that can come up when it comes to sex, and I really think that, you know, if your mind isn't right, it can cause a lot of problems.
Right.
True.
You know,
Right.
True.
and I'm sure we're going to talk about those.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Very important.
Come in there.
Yeah.
But again, I would like to add, it says good for bonding. I
Yep.
think my brother mentioned that.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
there is something special that happens.
Yep.
That I can speak from a man's standpoint. I agree with my brother here in terms of after 2-3 days, and then especially if work is hectic, and then you come home at night, there's just something that is released in your brain after you have that intimacy with your wife, and it balances you, you know.
Oh yeah.
You understand? As a man, it balances you. And when you don't get it, it could be a little bit edgy. You know, as they say, women just be edgy when they have their cycle. But we have our cycle too.
Yeah, that's
When we don't get it, we get edgy. You understand? So God knew exactly what he was doing. You understand? I can read this here real quick. You know, God's purpose for sex is more than just procreation and pleasure, but also for spiritual union between a husband and a wife. You understand? Hear this, right? They say during sex, a hormone called oxytocin is released. Right? This hormone is also known as the bonding hormone. Right? And this is why two persons who have had sexual relationship feel so close. Right? It's also this is also why sex outside of marriage is very dangerous.
That's right.
So that's a good warning to put there.
Yeah.
Don't just go about, you know, as you're saying, Grenada, throwing yourself all around the place.
That's right.
You know, you just be damaging yourself. So
It's
that
a spiritual
bonding,
bond that's
it's special.
Yes, yeah.
It is for husband and wife.
Oh yeah.
All right, God is a wise God. He makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
You understand? No mistakes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a point because what we have to also remember is when we go before the pastor and we're married,
Right.
that marriage is not really a marriage actually until you consummate the marriage.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how important this is, you know, the two becoming one flesh
Right.
is when we're really one flesh.
When you become one flesh.
That's when we become one.
Well, I would say, you know, when we say the covenant to each other, we exchange vows in the weakness of in the presence of his weaknesses, and we say, you know, by the authority of God, we make this man and this woman become, you know, husband and wife. That's a spiritual union. It's a mystery, and until you're in it, you don't really understand it. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you come together in sexual relation, that's where the spiritual actually release, because people can get possessed by sexual relation.
Agreed.
External sexual. You go, because the Bible says he that is going to a harlot become one with the harlot.
Yeah.
So that oneness, as you mentioned, that bonding, come when you come together. No, God is so amazing. Some of them are just, you know, I lie down after, you know, we go to China and come back. That's going to be talk for tonight.
Yeah.
After we're going to go to China and come back, I lie down, I'm thinking, God, this is amazing. The peace you feel,
Yeah.
that, I'm telling you, is beyond words. God designed, and I tell people, sex was designed for married people.
Oh yes.
Because God put this thing together with something special in mind, that you have to honor him to get it.
That's
Amen.
right.
And I tell you the truth, if, you know, some of us, we know sex out of marriage. All of us wasn't born under the pulpit. And for me, from my experience, having sex in marriage is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, you're naked and you're not ashamed. And that joy, you don't feel you're too high. You don't feel that guilt. You don't feel that shame.
Yeah.
You feel that joy that God designed it for. So when God said it, he knows exactly what you want to experience. And until you experience, I mean, sometimes some people never had, external sex. They never had sex outside of, you know, before marriage. Or, you know, outside that. They never have that encounter. So they don't know. Because the first person they met, they would have had, you know, their husband, which is good. But when you come from out there and you know what it is to be, you know, maybe disrespected or given your treasure and it is trampled as mud.
Yeah.
When you get into marriage now and you really understand, look, this thing is, I'm appreciated, because sex, the real essence of sex is not just your penetration and your release and the feelings and the action and the chemistry, but it's really feeling appreciated, feeling that you're valued, feeling that you're worth something, and you don't feel worthless. You feel you're valued. You feel that your body was designed for something special. It can bring something together. It can make something. I'm not just talking about making a child, but it can make something wonderful.
Yes, yes, I understand.
And you know, as you talked about that, there is an aspect of it. So if you keep yourself pure until marriage, that's very special.
Yeah.
When you have a male and a female, and that's the first time, because if you think about sacrifices back in the days and how you call that, covenant,
Yeah.
you realize blood is used when covenant is taking place.
That's right.
So when both of you now are, you come to that first experience, there's a blood that is shed that makes that bond what God intended for it to be.
Right.
And that's why, again, sex should be for married people, and
Yep.
you shouldn't just go in and allow anybody to get that blood. That blood is very, very special.
That's right.
It's going to form something that honors God, and He's going to be pleased with it. But we ain't bashing you, because if you didn't, you don't have that blood anymore, so to speak.
Yes, people make mistakes, and if
Of
that's
course,
your
of
past,
course, of
You know, somebody
That's your
tonight
past.
saying, well, I don't have that blood anymore, should I not?
that's your past. That's your past.
That's
God
true,
is
that's
able to
true.
heal. God
Him that
able
is
to
in
heal.
Christ is
Yeah.
a new creation.
That's
Oh
right.
yes. Oh yes.
Yes.
So I just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about why it was created. So we talk about, yes, for procreation, for pleasure, for, for that bonding and that spiritual union,
Yes.
But some people might still be wondering, is sex really important? How important is sex? Is it important in your marriage? Because to some people they might say, man, that ain't too important, if I get that once a month, or if we do that once a month, that good, or and maybe I heard what Evangelist Regis said at the beginning. But really and truly, is marital sex important? We need to talk about the importance, because people need to understand. Yes, we spoke about why it was created, but is it really important? And how important is it? How important really is sex in marriage?
You want to answer that question in one word? Is it important? I would say, is it important? Yes or no?
A resounding yes. Coming from me.
Very true. Very
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's essential.
It is.
I think, as women, what we have to understand is men need sex. Sometimes we can go without for a little while,
Yeah.
and then we start to have the shivers.
Oh, that does happen.
That's true. Like that.
But it is very, very important that we keep that connection, because there is a spiritual connection that sexual intimacy brings.
Right.
And I think what I find with myself and my husband is that if we've had a heated debate, for instance, it's almost like the when we come together, it almost like washes over the any disagreements that kind of get washed away,
Right.
and it almost feels like you're just back in that oneness again.
Yeah.
Right. Walking
You know.
together
You washing
in
the
unity.
drums away.
So it's, in other words, it is help. It's a good tool for recalibrating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
yeah.
like if it brings you back together in unity.
Yeah.
So if you're there and he's there, it's like it's a
No,
mystery.
no,
I believe it really is a mystery.
It sounds like, okay, we just had a disagreement and then we just come back. We have to be real.
Yeah.
There's an area right there that needs to be identified by the both couples. It is very important. So don't think as a man you quarrel, your wife's still upset,
Yeah,
and you
that's
just want to come and say, babes, let me make up that, let me collaborate tonight. Come on. It don't work that way.
No.
It has to be something where you resolve the issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right? And unless the issue is fully resolved, you would not get, especially you as a man,
Yeah.
women different.
Yeah.
and women are different.
Yep.
You want to come back and just try to collaborate like that, or you want to go to China, it won't happen like that. So you gotta make sure.
You ain't even reaching to tongue.
No. You won't pass immigration.
Not on the plane, no flying.
Yeah.
You know. So what I'm saying is that we need to ensure that you take care of all of these arguments. Calm
Yeah.
down yourself, and even if it's something that you want to leave for another day, at least there'll be that argument. You understand? That factor must come into play in order for you to be able to go to China, as we see.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I just? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I want to say something
Yeah.
on that line because for you to want to resolve that issue, as you mentioned there have to be an understanding of why. Because some people would want to resolve the issue because they want to have sex.
Yeah.
As a man thinking, you know what, time due, 72 hours passed already,
Yeah.
it's loaded, and he want to shoot.
That's dangerous.
You know. So it doesn't matter who is in the firing line. But it's important to understand your target.
Yeah.
In that sense that you don't want to just come together because you want to release. I think if you know you're making that up because babes, we are making, because you understand that sex is a two-way something, whereby both parties have to be satisfied. After 20 years, I come to a place where I know that I don't want to have sex with my wife if she don't want to have sex.
True.
Because it wouldn't be sex.
That's maturity.
It wouldn't be sex at all, whereby you just satisfy yourself, A lot of men do that, as you mentioned earlier, and one of the topic we'll be getting into, whether you could be raped in a marriage or so forth, yeah? But sometimes some people are feeling good. If my wife not feeling too well, or for whatever reason, she say, babe, some not turning the night, and I know what to touch. And I touch that, juke that something now, I say, okay, that's for the plane take off, that's just to put on the AC. and she realized to put on the AC, say, all right, I'm tired. So I know we're not taking off tonight. But we can still go around the airstrip,
Right.
and do what we have to do. But when you have the mindset that it is both people,
Right.
then you do it with a different, alternate, I say, incentive in mind.
Right.
Because you're not thinking about self-driven. Sex was never designed for self. Because even when you think about people who go out of the marriage, it's always about self.
Yeah.
I've heard people come all the time and say to me, and you see it all the time, people say, he never told me he was married because he wanted to gratify himself. So most time, self have to get out of the way. Marriage was not designed for any individual, whether the woman or the man. As my wife says, sometimes you find a couple where the wife is hotter and the husband might be, most time, men is much more, hot when it comes to sex. But sometimes I find a relationship where the woman is, passionate. She wants that every week. And the man might think, I'm working hard, I'm tired, I'm not built yet. And it's just really getting that together. And when you get it together, you have it made.
Conversation is important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, there are so many, you mentioned one or two things there. And what comes to mind is the fact that with every couple or with every person, there are issues that we have to face. None of us are perfect, right? And I want to talk about some of the issues in the bedroom. I want to talk about some of where does it really begin? Because marriages have problems. And sex is one of the big things that people may have problems with. All right? If you didn't have it at the beginning, you might have it in the middle. If you didn't have it in the middle, later on in life, you might have it. There's always some kind of little issue there with the sex. The man wants too much, the woman don't want enough, or something. All right. So, but I want to talk about where do these issues really begin? Where do they stem from? All right. And then we can talk about maybe afterwards how we can take care of these issues. But let's talk first about where do some of these things begin? All right. These issues.
Yeah, sometimes issues can begin from our past and really interfere with our now and our future,
Yes.
particularly if we don't address or deal with some stuff.
Yes.
So, I'm just thinking about some of the people who I've, had to had interaction with. So sometimes, if there's issues of abuse,
Right.
or rape, or that kind of assault, that kind of a stuff, that can really interfere in our intimate life or sexual life. If there has been external relations, if one of the parties has been promiscuous, for instance, that can that has its own issues. If there are issues around, struggles with masturbation and that kind of a stuff, that's another set of stuff to consider. So there's all kind of issues that can arise, particularly if we don't address or deal with in marriage. Even one of the issues that can also be unforgiveness, and something that I've shared and I'll share all the time in some of the groups that we have is an issue that we had. If you don't mind me sharing.
Oh, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
This was about 2008 or so. It was in the States, and at the time, my husband and I, we actually go down real good. But so he was preaching in a church, and he was actually speaking about unforgiveness. And I remember at the time, I was finding sex painful, and I couldn't kind of work out what was wrong, what was happening. It was just painful. And my husband preached about unforgiveness, and I thought, oh, that was a great message, really good. I've forgiven everybody, and I'm kind of looking around. He made the altar call, and something hit my belly, and I'm asking the Lord, what is there? Somebody I need to forgive? So I'm going through. Is it my dad? Is it my sister? Is it my other sister? Is it who? So I'm trying to work out. But I've dealt with all of that. And my husband made the altar call again. And he said, if you need prayer, come forward. And the Holy Spirit said to me, go forward. So I went forward. But I said, but Lord, who do I need to forgive? And he said, look up. And I'm looking and I see my husband in front of me. And I'm like, well, we're okay. We're having sex. We're doing our thing. Everything's okay. And when we got home and I began to talk to my husband, I said, you know who I needed to forgive? And he asked me who, and I said, you. And he said, well, what did I do? And the Lord actually revealed to me, he said, the very reason why you're having pain and discomfort in sexual what do you call it?
Intimacy.
Intercourse, I meant to say.
Right.
Sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
Is because you're not giving your husband all of yourself. There is something that was said in an argument and you haven't forgiven him.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. This thing is so deep. It's so serious that one of the things that we've learned to do, we recover very quickly when we have disagreements. It doesn't kind of prolong, it doesn't go on for days. Within the hour we're usually all right, really. And it's so important that as couples we get this thing straight, because intimacy has a lot to do with what we think.
True.
And it's also going to be, it also affects how we feel, and then that in turn will affect how we behave. So sometimes as a woman you can kind of close down if you feel something negative if your perception about your husband is wrong, you won't be able to treat him right. So you're, that can really affect you greatly, if you don't get your thinking straight. And that can have a lot of problems when it comes to, a third party having come into the relationship. You now as a woman feeling you're in competition with another woman, that is going to affect you. It's going to affect your, in terms of your cognitive reasoning. That is going to affect then how you behave and how open or how, let's say, you can actually, like, I don't know if I said it before, but you can actually close down. You can shut down. Your body can shut down. And then, then there could be issues of rape or in the marriage,
Yeah.
I want to say, speaking from the man point of view, I want to defend the men here now.
All right, go right ahead.
If you just want to have sex because you want sex, then it could be a problem. But if you understand the rudiments of sex, really, then you know what has to take place. Because the question was asked, how do we, how could you still, enjoy intimacy while there's issues to deal with? So some people now some men just, it doesn't matter the issue. I don't want to know about the issue. I just want me sex. And if you grew up in an environment where you believe, what, we don't talk about issue when it comes to sex. Just giving me sex. That a man, a husband just need to get his sex, and how you feel, whether you like it or not. Actually, there's a movie. And the guy said, you know what? You're going to come to me and we go have sex, whether you like it or not. That's going to be it.
Wow.
It was a robe or something like that. Wasn't it? Yeah? Some movie. And I'm thinking, and he was like, oh dear, you understand what you're going to. But when you got to understand the person you have, because everybody's different.
Right.
Everybody wired different. Every woman is differently, uniquely wired. Some people experience it different. So you cannot treat. Sometimes people try to treat a spouse based on a relationship they had, on another woman experience, or maybe what they see with their parents. That's what they respond. But you have to understand what you have. Now, if anybody had to have, relation problem, it was going to be myself or no money. She born in the cold where she have to close the door to keep it heated. I born in the hot where I have to open the door to get it breezy. So, I had to understand her. And you understand where she come from and, how could I make her enjoy sex? So one thing I realized, my wife like to clean. And I'm going to give her that on television right now. No, my wife like cleaning. And I will come from preaching and hungry.
Oh, no.
And I come home. I come home. And the first thing she do want to clean the kitchen. And if I feel, that's too much and I go and take my food, I'm still the selfish person in the whole world. And forget that, you're not going to go to China. The plane won't take off.
No China.
So what I do is that I clean the kitchen.
Right.
Because it starts with understanding who you're dealing with. So I go and make sure the kitchen clean so she don't have no excuse about the kitchen. And then, maybe part of the night, she come with something and I just tap her, she whatever, you let her know you're taking off tonight. Tonight we go to China. So you have to prepare the runway. You get fluid and you feel it's good, but you got to make sure everything is, you get passed from the control office and everything, and you can move.
Yeah.
And then you know that both of you is going to be enjoying that. So you don't come and say, you know what, I want sex tonight. No, that's it. It doesn't matter how you feel. I know we had an argument, but put that behind your back, and just no, they wouldn't operate like that.
Well, as you talk about flying and the runway and all of that, what I can think about is before every plane takes off, there's an engineer that goes and checks and makes sure everything is safe.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
Unless if you go flying, you could die.
In midair.
So on both sides, you have to make sure, engineer, you tighten up all the bolts, you fuel the plane properly, you do what is necessary. Based on the question my wife asked there, where do some of the bedroom issues really begin? I can just kind of go back to a program we had some time ago, Secrets in Marriage. Yeah? And when some secret shows up, not that you actually were planning now and the secret show up, but let's say the secret show up, and it is fresh information in the head of either the man or the woman or both of you guys. Because when one person receives the information and based on how they react, the other person now have to internalize and figure out, well, how we dealing with that? And note what I'm saying, how are we dealing with that? No, you can't bring it out and then expect one person to deal with it and just say, well, I'll tell you the secret and then let's just go to China.
No.
It don't work like that. Again, you need to ensure that if the secret come out and what's yet if it didn't come out from you, somehow we come out some other way.
Wow.
Partner, sometimes you may need an engineer for the relationship.
Oh, yeah.
For real. Because you yourself might not be able to engineer it at that time.
That's right.
So you may
That's
need
right.
to seek some, external help to, tell you need to tighten this bolt, you need to fix this, and ensure everything, everything is in order, and you can then fly. If not, and the other thing I would like
depending
to...
on the secret to it,
it might take a while before you fly.
Again.
So you have to be realistic, because if a plane wing is damaged, until it's repaired properly, nobody at customs or no engineer who is responsible for allowing this thing to fly is going to tell people go into it and let's go where we going, because everybody going to die.
Right.
So sometimes you have folks, they have damaged relationship, but yet still they just want to fly.
Yep.
Yeah. And I like the flying thing,
Yeah.
They want to go to China.
They want to go to China. And another part that I really just to add here real quick, selfishness.
Yeah.
You see that selfish behavior.
Yep.
I will say tonight I was a very selfish young man. I've been married for a lot of years and I've been very, 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 very selfish. And that selfishness, listen, until God shows you how selfish you are, sometimes you don't see.
You don't realize it.
Sometimes you don't show it in a church, but you show it right in the church, at your home. Oh, yeah, that's worship. That's your altar anyway. That's your place of where you live.
That's
and
right.
That's where you worship God.
That's
So
right.
sometimes God shows you that there. You as men, you could, based on, again, a misconception in your head, what you don't know could really mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
I was speaking to two young men today, and they're like, when I get home from work, I play my game, and I say, you guys married? They have children? They say, yeah.
Wow.
And this big man, they're playing games, video games still, right? And they say, okay, well, we have time cut out and things. So I say, so, one man say, well, my wife thinks I can't wait for she to fall asleep. But as soon as she fall asleep, I'm going to jump and play my game until late night. So I had to say to these young fellas who are not very, they're married too long. I said, listen to me, young fellas. All they don't understand what all they doing. You see, all they thinking, she looking at TV is intimate. And when she fall asleep, now you feel like an excuse to go and play your game. I said, but let me tell you something. A woman desire more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So I say, keep playing games and see whether how far that's going to get you. I say, the time you're taking to play a game, you should spend it with your wife. Create some bonding time.
That's right. That's right.
So don't jump too fast. One man say, that is time for flying. These young fellas, I realize, they remind me of me a lot. The macho person when you just get married and you don't really know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You have a twisted
Ignorance.
idea in your head.
Yep.
That ignorance is what we're talking
Ignorance.
about.
Yep.
You understand? But when you have knowledge,
Yep.
so a lack of the knowledge will cause you to have so much issues
Yep.
and
That's where the
problems
issues begin. Ignorance.
in the marriage. That in turn, when you go into the bedroom, you will see there's a problem.
Problems.
And the man who don't know better, she don't love me.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
That's right.
You don't love me because you can't give yourself to me. But a woman, love language is totally different.
Yep.
You understand?
Man.
Yeah.
Something else I want to touch is, you mentioned that part of the mindset and the immaturity, but also we have to also look at some people they're not sensitive to somebody else's feelings.
Right.
So,
Or
their needs.
Yeah.
So you just think, you know what, I'm going to just do this thing, whether or not you like it or not.
Yeah.
But when you understand the person, other people feeling, it's like putting person before you.
Yeah.
And you have to, as you said, you have to kill yourself. Self must be
Self has to
crucified.
die, yeah,
If
man.
you don't do that, then it's always about me. Because sex was never designed for one person.
Right.
Whether it's the individual, because you have cases where we're speaking to somebody one time, and one person say, well, it's a woman. She said, if you don't tell me the right thing in the morning, then forget it in the evening. So it's all about her.
Sounds like she hold in.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't get your boarding pass until your stamp is
you pay a
approved.
certain fee.
You pay a stamp fee. A stamp fee. And then you have men who think that you could tell a wife anything,
Yes.
and then she could just go to bed.
Just adjust.
Just adjust.
Understand? She
Yeah.
love
You
me.
know, and if she don't move, they don't understand why a woman just don't move. They think, oh, well, what's the story? But you just told her some ugly stuff.
Yep.
Now see someone you expect her body to just because adjust it. He wouldn't adjust because once a woman are emotional.
Very.
You got to know what button to juke. You got to know what to try. And I think we are designed to help and not to hurt.
True.
To heal and not to destroy. So if we understand that, then we could take the opportunity to really invest in a marriage. And everybody like good marriage. People want good sex. They want good marriage, but they don't want to work for it. It's like they want good food, but they don't want to buy provision. It don't work so.
Yeah. No, so many issues and so many places they can begin. So I like the childhood issues, that has a lot to do with it. Things you went through in your childhood, in your past, the secrets, the ignorance, that's a big part of it. Sometimes it's things that you really don't know, you're unaware of. It could be that you went through things in your childhood and you are also unaware that this is affecting you now. So it's also ties into ignorance. You know, even the past relationships. Sometimes you were, before you were married, you were promiscuous, and you're unaware that there were so many soul ties that now that you get married, a lot of things need to be broken.
Yes.
So a lot of these issues start there, right? People that are unaware that they need deliverance, they need to break off these soul ties. They need to, in the past you had this mindset about how a woman should act, how the way in which sex should be, and because you did it this way with Mary Jane and the other lady, you just figure that your wife should do it the same way. That's where the issues begin, in your past, in your ignorance. Even in my husband spoke about the selfishness. He just figured it's about me, satisfying me, and you figure that, and that's where a lot of the issues, the miscommunication. All right, you know that this is what you enjoy. You need to talk about it. All right, when you touch me there, I really enjoy that. Or when you do this, I don't like that. It's painful. All right.
I think it's too fast, man.
You jump the gun?
I thought you know.
Or I like when you put on that lingerie. Put on that. That's the one I like. Talk about it,
speak about things without actually saying it. There are some non-verbals you can actually.
That's right.
And lack of that, because you see, all of this building what we call an intimacy.
That's right.
You understand?
Be open.
You have to learn
Talk
to
about
build
it.
the thing. You know what they said? A man needs to understand if he wants to go to China, you have to start fueling that plane as soon as you wake up.
That's right.
Tonight is the time you plan to go to China. During the day, you understand, you have to tighten a boat.
Of course.
Do something.
Of course.
Do
Of course.
something.
Preparation to travel.
So in the night now, when you reach and that's the time you intend to fly, what you would find is that woman is well prepped.
Yep.
She's the light. You walked on, you touch all the right button.
But
When you go in the cockpit, what does happen, right? you have to adjust everything and make sure everything right. I mean, less dying, a plane stay on the ground. I mean, and somebody will be sad when the plane stay on the ground,
Sure.
The passengers will be like, oh, you can't go, you want to go, no destination. And then passengers, they started quarreling. And I remember that just.
Yep.
I love the parables you're speaking tonight.
But the Lord designed this thing for us to be really enjoyed. He designed this thing so that we could. But you see, if you don't understand that, you got to forget about yourself. It's just like serving God. Jesus said, if any man come after me, let him deny himself.
Yes.
In the same way in marriage. If you don't deny yourself, because as you said, if you have in experience like the young men you speak to, and they just think it's about satisfying me, and sometimes some people go on the walk and they have all kind of weird conversation, what you call rum shop theology, and they come home and they think it has to be done that way, and the spouse could be a complete different person, and they hear this guy talking about this. I mean, I have time when I go places and guys saying to me, Pastor, how you could have enjoyed one woman? They just can't understand how you can enjoy one woman. And I say, you know what? You see, when God put his spice on it, one night it tastes like lasagna, next night it tastes like chicken buffet, next night it tastes like,
I like
it's just amazing how God does it. The thing about God make marriage, and let me say that point up, you cannot live with God in intimacy.
At all.
Because a lot of people think you will live with God in the bedroom. Listen to me, I had times when I say, Holy Ghost, yeah, you take over tonight, and and give me the juice,
Bro.
give me this, give me this juice.
Bro, you say, and that's the best time.
Oh yeah, man.
You just come out and pray. That's why they say you have to be so careful as a man
Yeah.
who you pray with, because see, praying is
Yeah.
a very intimate thing.
It is
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't recommend men having a woman to pray with.
That's right.
You
That's
understand?
right. The
Except
prayer
your
partner.
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
If you
yes,
ain't
yes.
go married, if you're not married, you can't have that kind of close. You can pray for somebody. We understand
That's-
that. That's
that's
different.
right, that's right,
But
that's
you
right.
know you're there joining hand and listen, brothers, you're looking for trouble. No, we ain't trying to tell all of that so I can use it to our advantage. Some of you
that's
fellas
right.
mischievous.
Yeah.
Rebuke that spirit. Yeah. Get it right. You understand? Pray with your wife.
Yep.
You know what it is? Two can't work together unless they agree.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, if you can't pray good, there is no way in under God's beautiful heaven
Yeah.
that you would enjoy good sex with your wife or your husband.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
I mean, a lot of times, just sometimes, the blame is point sometimes towards men as being the inconsiderate ones and the other thing. Listen, it's a two-way stream.
That's
Yeah.
right.
If I'm here to give you that kind of pleasure that I see that I know God designed me to give to you,
That's right.
and you know that for yourself,
Yeah.
and we have that going back and forth,
Yeah.
I believe with God's help, you understand, things are going to work perfectly.
Amen.
I want to say that as well, because a lot of people don't think spirituality have anything to do with intimacy.
Right.
It has a lot to do
Very
with
much,
it.
yeah.
Because when you go to God,
Everything.
vertical, and you go to God, you're speaking to God, and you get intimate with God. He wants you to share that intimacy with your wife.
That's right.
So after you're coming from the prayer room, as people say, you're coming from your high mountain, Mount Moriah, and then you can relate to the wife. She wants piece of that as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
So when you come down, and I tell most time after you come, as you said, after you come from prayer, and you go into the bedroom, it's like, God, I give you yours. Now, let me share this with you.
And he's a faithful
Oh,
father.
he's faithful, he's a faithful.
faithful father.
He don't leave at home and he give her she fair share.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
a good father.
Oh my.
Alright. But we don't want to jump into the next part of this next
we
segment
need to
just
take a
yet.
short break.
We're going to take a short break here. Guys,
We'll be right.
Let me
We'll be
take a
right
few
back.
comments here. Francine Charles is saying she weak. She's laughing, but it says, very true. My brother Bob here is saying this is very true, very
It's a
timely
timely
topic,
topic.
and God is even very happy
To hear this tonight. Yes.
Amen.
Let's see who else that's on that we can say good night to just before we take a short break. Bonell is here. Some religion believe it's a sin for a woman to enjoy sexual intimacy.
That's
Thank
true.
God that's not the one I'm not a part of that.
Praise God.
Thank God for that.
Yes.
Oh my.
And she said that we want, we
we
mountain
mountain too.
too. But God is love. You understand?
That's right.
My brother Alvin is on. Guys, do take an opportunity to share the stream with someone.
Yes.
Put
yes,
it on
yes.
your status. You
Yeah.
understand? If you have a Facebook page, post it there. If you are part of some church group, take an opportunity and post it there, because it's very, very important that we do talk about this topic.
Yeah.
You understand? And I feel like we should do a part 2.
Yeah.
Because I ain't feel like we have enough time to finish
I send that.
everything
I send
tonight.
that.
You sent
I-
it too?
yeah, I sent that.
Yeah, I
that.
feel so. But nonetheless, we're going to take a short break
We'll
right
be right
here.
back, guys.
And we'll come back
Don't
in
go
a little
anywhere.
bit.
Becoming one. For of this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving, godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One.
All right, and we are back. Thank you for taking the opportunity to share, this interesting conversation tonight. We are talking about sex.
Let's talk about sex.
Mm.
All
We're
right.
talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking about.
We're in the middle of it.
Yeah. And
So
don't
guys,
tie up the plane analogy.
No, I
you know?
ain't tying it up at all.
Yeah, so you
Alright.
know what talking to the viewers. I hope they can pick up all the things.
Yeah.
You understand? That's why I say some mature audience.
Yes.
For,
Right?
yes, parental
And if you're not
discretion
married
advised.
yet, this is a good session for you tonight, so you
That's
can
right.
get the
Yeah.
necessary information.
Very
That's right.
important.
To
eh?
help you not make the mistakes that I have made. I'll
Mm-hmm.
put it like that, because I've made some because of lack of knowledge.
No.
All right.
Yeah, yes,
So
yeah.
let's continue.
Yeah.
Yes. So some time ago, my husband was in a group chat, right? And there was a question, there was a discussion going back and forth, all right? And that's where we came up with. We had to have this conversation.
Yeah.
One of the questions that was being asked was, all right, can a man rape his wife? All right. Can a man rape his wife? We want to talk about that because we're talking about what's right and what's wrong in the bedroom. Can a man rape his wife? So we're talking about what's happening in the bedroom, what's wrong,
Yes.
what we can do wrong, what we can do right. And let's start off there.
Okay. So if we look at the definition first of what rape is, rape is when there is non-consent on one part from one party.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if the woman has said no, she doesn't want sex, then somebody just said this is nonsense. Ooh, a man cannot rape his wife, she said. Now, I actually
Friends and my friend.
I believe that there can be, because women can. I mean, let me just give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
We did some prison ministry in the UK some years ago, and we went to a prison in Manchester called Style Women's Prison, and there's a young lady who I was asking, why were you in here? And she was explaining that, her husband had been used about violence towards her. And that can actually start in the bedroom and it can end in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, women can experience sexual violence. And it's most likely that, interestingly, that a woman is most likely to be raped by somebody she knows as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying it has to be a husband, but it can be a husband,
right.
And I think that people don't believe that women can be sexually assaulted by their husband, because I think there is a perception that if your husband says he wants it now, then he should have it now. And I think that is very much, that has a lot to do with what we believe.
Right.
So sexual violence, there is something as sexual violence, and yes, women have spoken to me who have been violated by their husbands and raped by their husbands because, and it's been rape doesn't have to be violent, but it can be sexual violence. Yeah, if that makes sense.
I understand.
Yeah.
I want to just support you there because while some people don't believe that a wife could be raped, like somebody just mentioned on the website that they don't think a woman could be raped. It's all boiled down to what you know or what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you grow up believing that that a woman body belongs to you, because some people take the scripture literal.
Mm-hmm.
If the wife body, they say wife body belongs to you, so that whether she like it or not is yours. Give me what is mine. But what we have to understand is that, as we were speaking earlier, on that intimacy is between two people.
Mm-hmm.
And if a woman, I personally believe, if a woman mind, I mean, I've been married for almost 20 years. If a woman mind is not ready, her body ain't ready. So if her body is not ready, therefore, if you want to penetrate, I think it could be painful. It could be harmful. I mean, both emotionally as well as physically. So that's because that's where it can be seen as rape. Because you've seen some films or you hear some documentaries where women say they've been raped by their husband because he comes sometime. You have this film where they say, my husband other life. He goes away to work and he goes to another family, and he comes back and he doesn't deal with anything. He just wants to jump into bed, and the woman now is already heard information. She switched off, and he turned on. So he turned on and he just feel, okay, you know what? Give me what is mine. And if she mind is not there, I think she could rape because it's not flowing together. That's my explanation. We can not in sequence because God designed that for the both people to enjoy, not for one person, whether it's the man or the woman.
Well, can I say, I believe that a man can physically abuse his wife, so he can beat her up, and he can sexually abuse his wife as well.
Yes, both can be done. I believe so as well. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at this comment here from Burnell, and it brings, so she's saying, yes, it can. God does not force his bride to do anything. Free will.
That's
if a
right.
husband force himself on his wife, he has dishonored her.
Yeah.
That's
And I
true.
believe the same because
I believe
God
that.
gives us, as his children, free will. Yes,
That's
we
right.
are married to him.
That's right.
But he gives us free will. Yes, we belong to him.
Yes.
But he does not force anything on us.
That's right.
Right? So, yes, from the time that we accept Christ, we belong to him.
That's right.
He belongs to us. But God doesn't force
All right.
anything on us.
Okay, great. So let
like that
me just
illustration.
look at that. So my friend said earlier on, no, a man cannot rape his wife. She said, but a man can abuse sexually. Now let me just
A wife can be
but a
abused,
wife can be
abused
can be
sex-
abused sexually. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So this is a definition for sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is when someone is forced,
Yes.
pressured, or tricked into taking part into any kind of sexual activities with another person.
Yeah.
All right,
So it's
fine.
unconsensual.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's then look at this definition here. All right, just to kind of, I don't want to go to the Bible. Let's use the internet.
That's right.
Rape is sexual.
It's
Force
forced.
sexual. So if rape is sex,
Yeah.
force, abuse is when someone is
Force.
Force.
Same
what's the
thing.
word?
Force.
Force.
Yeah.
So my friend, I just showed you
Yeah.
basically that a man could rape his wife.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's
Once
sexual
he's taking it
intercourse, yes.
forcefully,
Forcefully.
Yes.
you have a problem.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I understand where she's coming from when you think about how the whole union is formed. I mean, the law of the land states that a man can rape his wife.
Yeah, that's
It,
right.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
Now, in the argument, it is said that the law of the land don't stand. The Bible stands.
That's right.
Right? So the Bible says that is what it's supposed to be. You understand? But yes, the two becomes one flesh. But you have to understand, a woman is emotional. You are a woman. How would you like that? You don't feel like this, and your husband just come. Y'all open your leg now. That meeting. Give me mine. That song abusive already.
Let's suppose you have your period
That song
and he wants it anyway.
That sounds
Yeah. And that does happen.
That
Yeah.
sounds
That is rape.
abusive already.
Yes, it is rape.
Just the tone of
sexual
voice.
abuse
You
and
understand?
rape.
And some men do come across like that. And there's a fear now that is in the woman's heart. You understand? So she's there. You there beating up like a old horse.
It's
and,
forced sexual intercourse.
and she's not
it's rape.
enjoying herself.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So what is really happening?
Yes. It's
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's the angle I would take, and I would say when I stand on my yes, okay, forget about the law of the land, but let's just be human. Let's be humane. Let's be who God has made us to be and how things supposed to work. When someone goes into the courthouse, whether for husband or wife, whether for somebody child or there that you go and do your thing, force. Besides the person being maybe immature or underage, when the person is of age, if it's taken without consent. Now I get what you're saying, it's like they don't need to have consent, but I don't see it totally that way because I don't
something
think
can
that's like,
belong to you, but you in terms of how you
can
use
abuse
it,
Yeah.
you can abuse it.
Yeah.
So something can belong to you, and how you use it, you can
Could I say something?
really go against the law.
Could I say something here? Because the thing about it, we have to look at it now. rape
Mm-hmm.
in the eyes of the law, the first thing that the investigator looking for is a sign of penetration.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's somebody younger, or, they want to know if they penetrate the person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they look for semen, for DNA, whatever purposes. Now, but when you look at sex in marriage, it's much. I think it's based on how people see it.
Mm-hmm.
Sex in marriage is much more than just penetration.
Penetration, yeah. It
Because
goes deeper.
It goes deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's a prelude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have love making.
Mm-hmm.
You have the preparing of the ground so that field can be exposed and can be ripe and you can enjoy your food.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody want to eat a half-ripe mango.
That ain't tasting good.
You know, as a matter of fact, you'll get calic. You want it well ripe and juicy. You leave the banana ripe. So you don't go and get a half-ripe fig and start eating. You go get a rock. So I think, we have to really look at it. And in that case, if it's not done properly, somebody would be dissatisfied.
You know, my brother, we talking about what's right and wrong, what's wrong in the bedroom for married couples, Christian people, right? Now there are some people who believe, let's say a man married and he believe in anal sex, but his wife doesn't believe that.
Okay.
And the man force himself inside his woman and inside his wife. But what would you as a woman feel? Wouldn't you feel?
You'd feel
violated. That would leave you feeling you can't say, oh well, okay, the bed is on the file and anything goes. It's not just so.
It's got to be an agreement. There will be
You understand?
Yes.
So that's why you have to look at it. There's a scripture that Paul talk about. Some things are lawful, but not everything are
good.
Yeah. So you have to know.
Come on.
I mean, if you want to allow, if you want to allow that, and that's an argument you and your husband have, I mean, that's all your.
That's right.
That is all your bedroom.
That's right.
That will involve me. What goes on in Sister Regis and his in a bedroom, that however position, that is all your business. That's private.
You could get as
You
a
understand?
result.
But trust me, at the end of the day, you might be the one by the doctor because of the feces on the pieces, and that might be a problematic situation. Anyway, we want to be open.
Let me say that. Let's be open. God made this thing with a plan.
Yeah.
If he didn't want to have a woman is known as a woman as a womb, but she has a vagina. God made a woman with a vagina. He made a man with a penis. That's for a purpose. So if he didn't, he made that. You can't leave, as Guy said, you can't leave an entrance and go in an exit. You only go to some place they say entrance. If you bang somebody, in the exit as going in the entrance, you automatically wrong.
Right.
So you have to be very careful. If God have boundaries, He didn't design man to penetrate from behind.
No.
That have his purpose.
That's
He
right.
designed. He give a woman a vagina.
Purpose, yeah.
He give man a penis so that you can pleasure from there. I think some people just want more pleasure than what
They want to go to some kind of perverted heights.
I
Yes.
feel the
And
devil
that-
just
and
want to do
that
everything opposite.
Perverted heights,
Everything
let me
opposite.
tell you, we can talk about that, right? And we'll talk about it. Let me just put it in before we take this comment. So what normally happens when you think about it? Now, is pornography allowed for married people?
Yes.
And because of the filth that Babylon has filtered to
That's right.
through the screens to us as young people from the time we were growing up, our brains got messed up
Yep.
so bad that after a while, the natural thing, the natural way that God has created, that's why certain
That's right.
things I would say you should not allow in your bedroom as a
That's right.
married person.
That's right.
As married people, because when you allow these things there, sooner or later you want to go to you want to do some kind of thing.
Yep.
You want to go on the
Yep.
moon,
Yeah.
some kind of weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
And where? The question is, where did this thing, all of this came from? The eye gate, you allow it to come in there.
That's right.
And when it
That's right.
enters your mind, it's perversion.
Yeah. Yep.
This thing weren't meant for married relationship. God is
No.
a God of order.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right. That's
and
right.
this thing is disorderly.
Yeah.
It
So
is. It is.
some couples would say, well, we have no problem watching pornography,
First of all, think about it, eh? Pornography most times is between unmarried people
Yeah.
that's having sex.
Yep.
Sometimes
that's
you have
there
two.
already.
Sometimes you have two women, one man.
All kind of
sometimes
weird
all
stuff.
kind of things. Why
All
would
sort
you
of
want to
weird
sit
stuff.
and look at that? That is a spirit you're feeding it. That's a
That's right.
spirit
That's
that
right.
will allow it to
latch
enter
to latch
into
it.
your marriage. As
You
a
know-
matter of fact, don't be surprised if after that your husband wants 2 volume.
You understand?
Or your
Where you want to
wife
go
wants
after that?
Yeah.
She want
what
another
you're
man
looking
to
at
come.
is what you want to see.
Yeah,
What you want.
and, and if I should be really real here, right? I guess my wife would have an issue with me saying that. It's good to be real. Before I got saved, right? I was heavily involved into porn, and then I got married. All right, I became a Christian, and that was my struggle. And I got married, and it still was my struggle.
Of course.
All right, and there's one time I asked my wife, you don't want us to sit down and watch that? She said no. No.
Well done, sister.
She said no. And we didn't know all of that we know. We didn't sit down and study. But she said no. That's no. And I thank God today she said no.
That's right.
Because if she had only said yes,
she feed that.
I would have
spirit.
never believed that I needed to be delivered from it.
That's right.
And then I had to see that something was wrong with me.
Yep.
And I had to pray and ask God, take this thing away from me. And a lot of men out there, this is something that is wrong in their bedroom.
Yeah.
They in their bedroom with their wife. One woman in the bed, but another one in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to,
Yes,
you have to
yes.
take it out.
Oh, you must.
That
You must.
reality, that what God has created to happen would never happen if that head ain't clear.
Yes.
The head had to be clear. Go ahead, brother.
And you have to know that, you want to please God.
Of course.
First of all, you know that God is seeing everything. Even if you intimacy with your wife and you just think about somebody else, already it defiles it.
Problem. Yeah.
Because she may not know, sometimes she knows, she may not know, but God knows. Because remember, the Bible says He knows our thoughts even before we think about it.
That's right.
And the essence of intimacy is to honor God. When you get to bed with your wife, whatever you do, it must be honoring to God. And once God is honored, God says, I go honor them, honor me. God will make you this thing taste so sweet when you desire to honor Him.
That's right.
So I think a lot of people desire to please themselves.
Yeah.
And when you please yourself, leave God out of it, then you will have a problem.
No worship
But I'm
to
telling
the
you, I
king.
could tell anybody, sex in the context of honoring God, my God, you get a height of pleasure no drugs could give you, nothing could give you that kind of pleasure. But God gives you that because you know what? You honor Him. Simple like that.
Go ahead, Mr. Regis.
Yeah, I was going to say something about pornography, then I just forgot.
Oh.
Pornography. I was just going to say that pornography, what we have to remember about pornography is that there are some things that the world does. Because remember what the devil has done is he
Vice.
has made things that are perverse look like they're okay. And so a lot of people came from, a situation where they were involved in a lot of what they see on the pornography, what pornography does. They'll do. They came from that life. So what can happen sometimes is that the one of the partners may come into the marriage expecting their wife to swing from the trees and do some upside down.
Tarzan.
You know what I'm talking about.
Change.
And they wonder why she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Because in his, let's say it's the male, if it's from the man's perspective, in his world, he can't see anything wrong with that, And so that's his normal. So he's coming into the marriage thinking she's weird, but he's really, his
fun.
his
I'm
thinking is has been defiled, and if you don't, like I said earlier on, is if once we don't get our thinking straight about this thing, it can cause so many problems.
Could I just mention something about this pornography quickly? Because I've never really had struggle with pornography, but let's just be real.
Yeah.
Because what might be your struggle may not be mine.
That's right.
But what might be your freedom is my struggle.
Yeah.
My struggle, there was one time in my marriage where I thought, if I could watch it was not pornography, but if I want to be stimulated, I had to watch some sexual movies.
Right.
So then I could go and impart to my wife. And only one time the Lord revealed to me, said, no, that's not right.
Right.
Because what happened, when you watch a movie, you're actually taking part. You're following the trail. When the people kiss, you're more making water.
I never heard that one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the truth is what has happened.
Because remember,
yeah.
you're following it. You're expecting it.
Yes.
Listen, let me say. I like to be open.
Yeah.
Because I'm free. Now, there was one time when I was saved. I was not a preacher, I must say that. I was not a preacher, thank God. I was saved, and I used to come from church. And when everybody is sleeping, I'm watching this movie. I never forget that. That's why the Bible says, if a man look upon a woman to lust, desire to have, he already committed adultery in his heart.
That's right.
And what you think could release something in you.
Yeah.
And that happened to me. I watched this movie. I never forget that we were before I met Hermione, we were in our house, and they went to bed. I came from church, and I put on the TV. It was Lifetime movie. I never watched it. Never forget that this movie. This guy was a soldier in the army in Germany, and he had this woman, and I couldn't remember.
Don't tell us.
But you don't know the name of the movie. But when they came together, it's like because I followed the trail.
Yeah.
I actually almost get in bed with them.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when they finished, I was wet. And I realized because I'm flowing with them, emotionally, chemistry, everything's going there. So, as a preacher, as a man of God, I have made up my mind, and that's the reason why probably I'm enjoying my marriage and my intimacy, because I've blocked out anybody else.
Right.
There's nobody here that want like my wife. Not every other woman can give me that my wife cannot give me. No. And then I understand there is more to life than just sex.
That's right.
You got to understand that. So what I do know, I don't watch no movie whereby people going stripping down because I don't want to expose myself to nobody else's breast than my wife's breast.
That's right.
So you have to kind of understand that. No, spirit can latch onto you.
True.
Yeah.
I remember one time watching this movie and
Don't give the name.
no, don't give the name of the movie.
Somebody's gonna
somebody's
go
gonna
over it.
search for the
Yeah,
movie.
wisdom.
And I used to wait till Hermione leave. I've been open up people in the audience, wait till Hermione go to watch a movie. And I used to follow the movie just to see when the women going on in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And a spirit latched onto me. It's a lustful spirit.
That's right.
And latched onto me. And I started lusting until Hermione catch me one day. My God, you wish the earth could open as well.
That's an embarrassment.
It's very embarrassing.
You don't want that.
I don't want that. You see me, I like to be free. Look,
That's right.
my wife knows. I don't have nothing to hide. She makes my daughter use my phone more than me.
Right.
I don't want, when I want to sleep, I want to sleep.
That's right.
I don't want nothing bother me, no
Bothering
spirit,
you.
no man, no beast. So I want to be free. So I know what it is to allow certain spirit to latch onto you. Because see, unclean spirit will make you do something that is not clean.
That's right.
Yeah.
And make you do something, and then after you're looking foolish, and you try to justify it. But it's just unclean.
Amen.
We live now either clean or you're unclean.
That's right.
Either godly or ungodly.
And that's it. And that's why also for we had to make that decision about a year and a half now also, that we're not going to look at no secular movie.
That's
We
right.
don't look at Netflix.
That's right.
We don't watch. We had a TV in the room and the children break it, and we said, "Thank you, Jesus."
Yeah.
You understand?
Yep.
Because you see, the enemy is cunning. He's
Very
he's
cunning.
very
Yes,
tricky,
yes, yes.
and Christians need to understand it to put up that guard. You understand? There's
Yep.
still areas I'm working on as a man
Glory
to
to God.
ensure. Thank God for a strong wife. They always look out for you. See,
Yeah.
God makes no mistake. And men, sometimes when your wife coming at you and she giving you it hard and straight for the protection of the marriage, we have an
Yes.
ego, you know. Sometimes
Yeah.
you know, like, oh, well, you don't find this, you don't find. It may be hard, but the reality is God makes no mistakes.
Yep.
Brother. You
Yep.
understand? If you know what you have, trust me, you go cherish it.
That's
you
right.
understand?
That's
But
right.
and if we go and talk about this pornography as what is wrong and right in the bedroom, I know we won't finish tonight. That's a whole conversation. You understand? So I don't understand. Let me take Alvin comment here. He says, if husbands love their wives as Christ loved the church, all right.
A real kingdom, man,
yeah,
will never force himself
himself
or demand intercourse.
intercourse.
Yes.
Because Christ never imposed himself on the church or on us.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
You
right.
said it. You
Yep.
said, yeah.
And
That's true.
that's free will right there.
Yeah.
You
Amen.
understand? So,
Yes.
my friend says, "What? Thank you, Lord, for this information tonight." Alright? There's another area where we're talking about what is right and what is wrong in the bedroom, right? what is wrong rather, not right, what's wrong. What is wrong? What is
But we're
wrong?
questioning it because some people think it's right.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
So what do you guys think about dildo and other sex
Using
toys?
sex toys.
Sex toys
in
in the bedroom.
Okay. Can I?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
There goes the professional.
Okay, 'cause that was one of my struggles.
Uh-huh.
You know, we're being honest tonight.
Okay.
I'm from the UK, as you know, and they used to have these kind of a sex shops where you can go and buy stuff, and I would used to pass them. And then I remember it was before I
you were
got saved.
single, yeah, you were single.
Before I got
Right,
saved.
right.
And I remember passing the shop, and I felt really embarrassed, but I thought I'm going in anyway, so I just put my cape on, head in the shop. And I saw all this stuff, and I thought, okay, let me see. And I tried this thing, vibrating thing. I thought, oh, right, okay.
I'm sorry.
Now when it comes, I mean, I was single and I was unsaved. That's what the unsaved do. So don't watch me so.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
However, I remember when Abraham and them got married.
You got saved first.
I got saved, got married, and this is like 15 years into the marriage or so. Abraham, probably about 10, 15 years or so. Abraham went to the US. And I remember we spoke on the phone, we had a grand talk, and we laughing and chatting and stuff. And I put my daughter to bed, and I was watching a movie. And then I remembered I had this kind of a massage thing.
Oh dear.
It's for the massage.
Yeah.
But I thought, I remembered I used to do that.
Yeah.
So I now started to think, I wonder if I should try it. Well, who told me to do that? And I realized this spirit latched onto me because I then had a desire for this thing. So I kept using it. And I realized, no, there's something wrong. And I spoke to the Lord, and the Lord said to me, get rid of the accursed thing.
That's right. That's right.
And so, I mean, that's my testimony.
Yeah.
And confession is very good for the soul. Yeah?
Amen.
So
Amen.
Yes.
it's what I realize is that, you know, sometimes we can think something is okay because, you know, in the world we did it. It doesn't seem like it's hurting anybody.
That's right.
But what I realized what it did for me is almost like it can't take the place of your husband, but it almost seems for me it's like a competition. You know, you're looking for a height.
Yeah.
And so that's something can't be right. about
Right.
it.
Right.
You know, so
Does
that-
Abby,
that-
you want to share it? Yeah.
No, because in doing that, I'm thinking, if this thing is really, really satisfying you, you figure your husband cannot, poor husband trying to
Compete
he's
with that.
competing, and it's like he can't make it,
Can't
and he
make
wondering probably why you're not satisfied, and this is what is satisfying you. So that can be true problems in the bedroom.
Well, I think you hit the word because while she was speaking, I was thinking, it's looking for satisfaction.
Yeah.
We sing the song, Jesus, only you alone can satisfy.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, if you're looking for sex as a means of satisfaction, it brings you pleasure, yes.
Yeah.
But it's not the height of satisfaction.
True.
That's true.
Otherwise,
It's only for a few minutes.
it's only for,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Back to normal.
you're back to normal again.
Yeah.
It's like you have to eat again or you have to bathe again.
Yeah.
So nothing that, you in this world cannot satisfy. It's true. Jesus give you the satisfaction.
Never runs dry.
Thank you very much. And the next thing about it is that you got to be careful of what you do when you're alone.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
When you're by yourself,
Integrity.
alone. Listen, I could be. I love being home alone now. They say home alone. You're home alone now. And I sometimes say, Holy Ghost, yeah, that's me and your time now. Rebecca not there, home there. But if you don't have the Lord as your height of satisfaction, then you look something else. You always looking at. That's why people, those who smoke, want the next smoke because they want that high. They drink, they want the next drink, or they feel another woman could give me that. If I only get this woman, if I only get a white woman, if I only get a short woman, if I only get a light skin, whatever, because they never satisfied. So I think when Jesus said to the woman, well, if you drink
Yes.
of the water, this water, you will never thirst again.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if some Christian drink of this water because they're still looking for something that is not there. And sometimes you look for it in a man, you look for it in sex, they look for it in food, they look for it in money, they look for it in house. And it's just that is in him. So whether you have, listen to me, whether my wife ain't feeling too well, you know, it doesn't bother me.
True.
Listen to me, if I mean, after a couple of days you feel, you know, your body changing. But if she said, you know, I ain't feeling good, I wouldn't have to force her because
your priority changed
you have to change.
to her well-being
That's
as
right.
being more important
Potent.
than just
Your
you
release.
satisfying
You're
yourself.
satisfying yourself.
And that's a hard place for men to get at. I believe it takes the Holy Spirit,
The Holy Spirit
to
help you.
bring you there. And
Yep.
I know what
Yep.
I'm talking about
Yep.
because trust me, I was the one, boy, you sick, oh God, boy, I'm so selfish. I only thinking about me. You feeling well later. You don't have like a room there and you're trying to make your wife feel guilty.
Yeah,
You understand?
Yeah.
And you have to understand yourself in your relationship.
Yep.
Because sometimes they say men are the hunters.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's true.
But there are some female hunters too.
So
You have to know what it is what is really happening in your relationship. Alright? And understanding the individual is very important. Very, very, very important. So I would say stay away from these dildos or whatever it is. You know, you see the interesting thing how the devil is so tricky. He used, listen, the ears and the eyes
Oh, yeah.
for men.
Yep.
But you know, women are emotional and they feel a way, so he created something else.
Yep.
You understand? Both of them now is to more or less replace. You know, replace.
Yes.
You
Because
don't need a man.
once a man
You
get
don't need
hooked
it.
on that, you know what it is?
Yes.
You can't go start on me. I could get pleasure through my eyes
Yep.
and through my ears. So I'm gonna block you out. And the woman, okay, you think it's so, man, but with you, you know, what you giving that this thing can't give me. You know, as my friend says here, she say nonsense about these fake things. That's an embarrassment to Papa God. Full
To Papa God, full package.
Full package. The full
Yeah,
package.
yeah,
You
Papa
understand?
God give you a full
This
package.
full
That's right.
package. You
Yeah.
want to come and fall for this nonsense. Leave that alone. And you see again, as we spoke about it, what is coming to my mind again, that's why it's so important that, you know, this conversation in marriage, before you get married, you need to sit down.
Yes.
Be fully prepared.
Yeah.
You understand? For what you're getting into. You know, I also asked my wife one time, what you think about that girl in the marriage?
Yeah,
One time, she said,
that's right.
no. You know, she said, no. You understand? But then again, guess what? Where did these questions stem from?
Come
Yes.
from.
You have to ask yourself that question.
Yeah,
That's
history.
because, you know, she probably didn't know, but if she was wise, you know, should ask yourself, why is he even asking me
that.
about that?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
You know, so if your husband asks you that question,
Yeah,
or
right,
your
from
wife
somewhere.
asks you that question,
Right, from somewhere.
you need to know. And
Yeah.
again, a word to the wise and
Easy
to you
enough.
out there. Listen, please, don't listen. Stay away from all these sexual movies.
Yeah.
No matter if they're soft or they have a little thing,
Yeah.
and when we say you're strong, the devil always have an agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
understand? So
Yes.
you have to be wise. You have
Yes.
to protect what God gave you. You have to fight
Yes.
for it. You understand? It's too
Now,
overly.
something that came to my mind as we were talking about all of this are dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
sometimes we take our dreams very lightly. All right, but in growing up,
Say it right. Sexual
right?
dreams.
Sexual dreams.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Dreams.
sexual
It
dreams,
is still
right?
talking
Not
about
just
sex.
not just normal
Energy,
dreams,
that's right.
right? So you're growing up as a young man. You have these dreams, and they say you get wet dreams as a result of these dreams that
especially
you have.
us men.
Right?
Yep.
And then the woman, sometimes you dream that, you know, you're having sex or it's somebody giving you sexual pleasure. And then you realize, you know, you wake up and it's like if it actually happened.
Yeah.
Now we have to be careful about these things. Don't take your dreams lightly.
Yes.
You know, we have these spirits.
And it's so tricky. They will put
Succubus,
you. They will put you.
incubus.
Yes.
They will put your husband.
Yeah.
Your husband face.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Or your wife face.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's your husband or your wife you're having
Somebody
sex
said,
with in your
say,
dream.
I think you don't know.
Yeah.
After a while, you know it's not.
You don't know it's not them. But
No,
some people
I-
don't know because
Yeah.
you can entertain it for so long that it becomes a normal thing to you, a normal thing to you.
Yep.
And then you get up now and you know, if you pay attention, a few days after you might realize if you don't pray and
Yeah.
bind and mash up whatever that principality, that has been operational while
They're
you
coming
were,
right between you and your husband and your wife.
while you were asleep. The same husband you dreamt about tomorrow, you want nothing to do with him. Or the same wife you dreamt about, all of a sudden she threatening you. Listen, we live in a spiritual world.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
So you must be aware of that.
Now, I remember something just came back to my mind in growing up. I had, some of these dreams, right? Even while we were married, you get these kind of dreams. But I remember one in particular, and that's how I know that something ain't right.
That's right.
In growing up. I remember I used to have these dreams, and it's like you used to find it, it's pleasurable because you feel good. But I remember once I was, kissing one of these, I don't know if it was a woman or a man, but I remember in the dream, the woman or the man or whoever it was turned into this thing. This thing I remember is like you kissing, and then all of a sudden you feel this long tongue wrapping around. And from the time that happened to me, I knew that this was not right. This thing is demonic. This thing was demonic. And this thing affects more than people realize. It affects. Some people might just think it's just a dream. All right? But the devil is setting you up more than you think.
Let me qualify it really quick and simple for you, right? No, if it is not your wife or your husband, is wrong.
Oh yeah.
And it's that.
Yeah.
Simple like that.
And not
Simple
even in
like
the
that.
dream.
Yep.
Remember,
You've seen your husband and your wife face?
not
That's-
even
it's
that
still
one.
wrong.
So not in the dream we're talking about. If
That's
it is
right.
not you and your husband intimately having that physical contact, you need to be aware of that.
Yep.
I love this comment right here, and I put it up for that reason. There's another aspect of it where you have people fantasizing.
Yes.
You understand? Using emotion and imagination, Natalie says.
Yeah.
And you'll be with yourself.
Yep.
And you think about it. Some young men growing up because somebody tell it's cool.
Yeah.
You sit down there whole day and you just dreaming about stuff. You're inviting
Demons, that's right.
into your space.
Yeah.
And they come in, and they bring friends. And before long, you're in this relationship with a wife and she never knew about that. You didn't even know what you were doing. And it affects your relationship sexually in time. Because no, all these things you have imagined you want to go and practice it
now.
thing.
Yeah.
And the poor woman or the poor man don't know what he was imagining.
That's right.
They don't know what you want. And no, you want to express yourself.
I want to say something. I like how you pause there. I want to say something because I hope I'm not jumping the gun.
No,
But
go ahead.
In light of giving people understand how you could enjoy, because we're looking at the problem, but how we can fix it.
Let's talk about that.
How we could enjoy,
Let's talk about
or eliminate the problem.
Yes.
You're good.
Let's
You're
all
on
the,
point.
all the things that we've said there.
Yeah.
Now, one day, we have to look at our spouse, and enjoy. I mean, my sister read about Ecclesiastes, Sons of Solomon.
Yes.
Right.
There's one part where we talk about your breast is, a bundle of grapes and so forth. You want to enjoy your wife, and to the fact that they know that. So I actually tell my wife know what I like. I don't like this. She say, you don't like this, you don't like that.
Yeah.
But one day we were there, and she just put on her underwear and she lay on the bed, and I watch her. That is the pornography movie. That is the movie that
I like that.
That's the engine, because I'm not looking at somebody else. So I said to them, I said to her, I watch her. I said, then in the night, no, I tried to put on the engine in the airplane, and she said to me, I didn't know we traveling. I said, so why do you think you go put on this thing there and expect when they fly? Come on. From the time you bring the light, we're taking flight.
Yeah.
So it's that. But I also want to say something as well, that I think it's a height where men look for and they don't really get it. Because we are projectors, as you say, we are hunters, and we move by our eyes. We tend to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
We tend to be that, we want the sex, and whether you like it or not, you just are going to give it.
Yeah.
But there's a certain pleasure. Let me just say that on live. There's a certain pleasure you get when you make the woman make the first move.
That's right.
It's like put out the open bat.
Yeah. As a man,
Yeah.
as a man, I will agree with you because it does something to your mind. It's different to when you always hunting.
Yeah.
Well, you want to feel hunted sometime.
Alright.
You want to become that meat. I mean, the road, the catch, the road wouldn't stay the same in the process. The woman she might end up in the bag eventually. You get that? But to start, sometimes you don't always want to hunt. You want to feel that way, and women need to understand that. As we're talking about how can we improve it, because you can't say to yourself every time the husband wants to be the one. Always coming and when he decide no, but I want to just see, I just take a back seat. Let me see what happens. I mean, he will still eventually can't hold his place if he's a real man.
But the thing about
it, but sometimes, man,
But the thing about it, we know there's a monthly, just a woman have a monthly cycle.
Yeah.
We know there's a period
Yeah.
where there's a couple of days after the cycle. Yeah. There's a period where they need,
That's right.
where they get hot.
Right.
I know when my wife gives me a sudden touch. We fly in one time.
Yeah.
No question
no
about
long
it.
talk.
I get no long talk. I get free ticket and paid all inclusively.
All right.
So I know that, but it's a nice feeling
Yeah.
when you could hold your ground and you say, you know what? Let me see how she gonna move.
Yeah.
Listen to me, just a few days, a little longer than you normally.
That's right.
And as you do that,
Don't let go the secret, no man. The men hold on, brothers. Not this young fellas to come to a seminar. All they have to spend money for that information.
I know.
That free tonight.
I go hold it back.
Yeah, the whole that secret. You understand? Only have a seminar.
You sure right. They have to want more.
Yeah, man. All they have to pay for that information, fellas. You know how much trouble man had to go through to learn this thing.
You're telling me.
This training ground wasn't easy. You understand? Man, 20 years. Look at me. I go 14 years. You understand? Come on.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But
I hope all they pick up as men. But awesome, and that's real. That's
Yes.
real. That's
Wow.
real. But we will continue.
So we're talking about how we
how
can
we can
improve.
improve,
Let's
you
talk about how
understand?
we can improve
Yeah,
our
we can
intimacy.
improve,
We
you
talk
know.
so much about how things going wrong and what we
Yeah,
shouldn't
we
do.
need to know.
Let's
We don't
talk
want to
about
leave
what
you
we
tonight. We're
should
giving
do.
you solutions.
Yes.
You understand?
I just want to just say to the ladies, because
Right.
I think sometimes when we've been married for a while, we at some point you can get to the place where you feel like it doesn't matter what you wear. You put on your
How you
old
dress.
baggy, big old. I got some real ugly things, yeah. And I know when to put on me big old ugly things.
Of course.
But I know when I got to do some work.
Yeah.
And I have some things in a little cabinet.
Special place. I love that.
He ain't seen some yet.
All right.
Intentional. You're being very intentional. Yeah.
So yeah, we even though we've been married for 20 years, I think we have to also take care of our body,
That's right.
make sure we still look good, and I just don't want my husband to be attracted to nobody else. And I know he's not. But I still want to look, and I want to feel that somebody said we rebuke that baggage.
Sorry, yeah. And she said that when they growing up, we used to call it a bamboo. I always say the rest.
Really?
Yeah, and we can't say the rest here. It's a bamboo something. I don't know if I'll ever hear that one before.
No,
I know.
We say bingo bag. That's what I know.
Bingo back, yeah.
That I know.
I like that. Big undergarment.
Ridiculous. Terrible.
Well, hold on. Let me give you a joke, because there was a time I used to always wear black. I don't know if I used to think it made me look slim. But one time I went to England, he said, "Listen to me, when you come back, leave every black panty you have. I don't want to see.
And then that is so awesome. Now you laugh about it, but guess what? The honesty in the
Yes,
that's right.
Be
because the
real
man
and
could be sitting
open.
there thinking every time she put on this black thing, what she feel like feeling all off. All business. You understand? So, you gotta say how you feel, man.
Yeah,
that is
communicate.
going to help it. You have to be open.
honest.
You understand? Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
Go
important.
ahead, go on. We
Yeah.
want to hear where you're going. Go ahead, sorry.
Who me?
Yeah,
What was it? How did I get? Oh yeah.
I know,
so,
right. Mhm.
Yeah. I was going to say that as women, I think the other thing that we need to do is, sometimes I think we let ourselves go in terms of our shape, and we feel like, well, we've been together for so long, he's not. But I think that we still have to ensure that we, look. Our husbands still are able to admire us in terms of, that we still have to look. I don't want to use the word sexy, but you know what I mean.
Bring him delight.
All right, you
Bring
gotta look hot.
Right.
You gotta
Yeah,
come,
like
come.
that.
You gotta come with something.
That's a young Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, a young Tom.
Yeah.
Look on.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you a joke, because my husband, he's kind of raw sometimes. He'll say, "Come, girl, let me give you an injection." You have to be so rough.
Yeah. It's true. You gotta come out of it.
You want to be doctor.
That's right.
Doctor registered tonight.
You are funny.
So I think the other thing to do is, I just know when this thing is due,
Yeah.
because, like we said, that it doesn't start in the bedroom. My husband will start from sometimes even the day before, and I know within a day or two, I've got to be ready. So I know my mind's being prepared. So I get a lot of the touching, the little remarks. I might get a little pinch here, and those things make me feel. I'm feeling good, man. So I think it's just it adds some spice to the to the plane ride.
But how I told me, I say, what, God. I think some people in the past, they're so spiritual that they ought to no good.
Ooh, you can say that again?
They're so spiritual that they ought to no good,
Yeah.
because some people, people come to me and say, they were, they use even sex as a tools to say, I just praying, so I can't do that now. And every time they pray, they don't pray it. Well, if you're praying so much, pray to give me what you'll give me. I pray you release in the name of the Lord. I might lay hands on you or something, But you have to know, look, because you see, a woman knows a man wants to see something. But at the same time, if you don't plant food, grass gonna grow. So they don't want to, entertain the husband and make him, feel as well. But if somebody else do that, they have a problem. And I'm not subscribing that.
Right.
But I'm saying that God expects us to, remember the thing that we were in love with. And as I said, we're 20 years and we feel like we're in honeymoon. And then you have to satisfy. You have to know. You have to ask God for something. 'Cause remember, He bring the person. So some like it hot, some like it cold, some like it in the pot 9 days old. But however you got to make up your mind. However you get it, you are thankful, and you ask God. Say, God, you give me one wife, and I love my wife.
Amen.
Give me this. I tell him, I say, look, I want, make sure give me more fried fish than gravy fish. And before you know it,
You get that?
you get dry fish. So give God praise.
But
No, listen, some people think they don't have to ask God, but you
I'm
can
just
ask
gonna
Him.
tell you that we have faith to pray to ask God to supply we needs. But if something ain't going to right and you ain't getting it right, you don't see it as, well, let me go and pray and ask God. Let me pray for my wife in that area. We're talking about ways to improve.
That's right.
You understand? So I realize she's having a hard time at work. Let me know as a husband, go and spend some time and pray about that situation. You know what? Before you go and quarrel with the wife and say, you ain't working it out here.
Yeah.
Go and pray or say, let's talk about it. You want to win?
Yeah.
You want to score? You want to go to China? My brother, here's a piece of wisdom for you.
Yes.
Go and have a nice conversation when she's hurting.
That's
By
right.
the end of the night, when everything is suited,
My God.
my brother,
Does it well.
you understand, my brother, my partner say, we're not like old boring men, boring old men. I like that comment here. Sorry, he said, thank you for dispelling the false notion that Christians are old maids and boring old men. We are not.
Yeah.
You understand? We are real people.
Yes.
You understand? And God made us fearfully, wonderfully made. And listen, the thing is, He made sex for us to enjoy as married people.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said
You
to
know?
people, I said this to me, I know on my way to heaven,
Yeah.
but give me my sandwich while I go. Meet me sandwich, you know.
You want your sandwich?
On the way, let me enjoy my sandwich here while I
Yeah,
go.
when you reach heaven.
When I reach heaven, forget it, I go to heaven food. I wait angel food, but while I'm hot, give me my sandwich. You know, and I mean, we really enjoy our intimacy. And I think you have to, I give God the glory for that. But I said, on the other hand, again, you have to appreciate what you have. And if you value it and appreciate it and honor God, my God, He makes this thing sweet, man.
Yeah, man.
It's lovely.
Lisa, do you have any? I find you ain't talking much.
Yes. Well, I'm just here enjoying the conversation. Ways in which we can improve our intimacy, our sexual intimacy. Well, we spoke about praying, and not just praying, but praying together.
Right.
Yeah.
When you pray together, that is a
That's
closeness.
right.
There's a
Yeah.
bond there.
That's right.
That goes, it improves the sexual intimacy, your sex life. You can read. There are books that you can read.
That's
there are
Bonding
programs that you can look at, like this one.
Bonding
There are, what do you call it? When you go to not a program, but you go to, like we went to this conference.
Oh, the seminars.
Right,
yeah.
the seminars, the conferences. You
Yes,
go as a married couple, you learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So that you can bring it into your marriage, you can experience it, you can put it to work. You learn a lot,
Yeah.
right? And, well, I don't know about every marriage conference, but I would think when you go to a marriage conference, they would talk about topics like sex.
Yeah.
They would talk about topics that will help you,
Yep.
because even if there is not a topic like exactly maybe let's talk about sex, but you talk about communication.
Yeah.
Communication is something that affects your sex life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these things are going to help in order to beef up or to improve your sexual intimacy.
Can I just add it in there, because we're facilitating a marriage seminars right now.
Yes.
The last Friday of every month. I'm just
Yes,
advertising.
yes,
that.
yes.
Right.
Go
That's
right
good,
ahead.
man.
Go right ahead.
We need that.
And we were not able to come the last time because we had a
Yeah.
prior engagement, but we really wanted
guess
to
what?
come.
All of us wanted to come.
Yes.
But you see, there's a place, like I say, how can you improve it? So we were spending time with like-minded people.
Oh, right.
And we
Right.
had a awesome conversation.
That's very
Awesome.
nice.
Funny enough, it was about sex.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
You know, but it's good to sit down with married
Yes.
people,
Yes.
who understand
Understand
kingdom
kingdom
marriage.
marriage.
You may
Yeah.
have someone who probably don't understand it to the fullest in
Yep.
the area, but
You
guess
get
what? You get to
information.
learn, you get
Yeah. That's
information.
right. That's
So
right.
that is awesome that what you guys are doing. We
Yeah.
do this program every second Friday
Yeah.
in a month.
Just so happen it's the first
But,
Friday.
Yeah, because you have something next week, so we had to
Yeah.
push it forward. You understand? So go ahead, Sister Regis.
Yeah, I was going to say we covered communication, and this on the 27th of
This month.
This month,
Right.
October.
We're going to be looking at conflict in marriage.
Okay.
There's a number of topics. Sexual intimacy is one of
One of
them.
them, yeah.
So I won't
Nice.
tell you. You just have to be there.
Be
So
there.
it's the last
We're
Friday.
booking it for sure.
The last
We'll be there.
Friday
And it's live
of the
and
month.
raw.
And
Yeah.
it was last month. They didn't want to leave.
Ah.
It was awesome.
And it's free. Is
And
it?
It's,
we have a registration
Okay.
fee of $35 per
Okay.
couple.
Invest
then-
in
Oh,
your
and that's
marriage.
cheap.
It's free,
That is
Yeah.
cheap.
every week.
Invest
after
in
that.
your marriage,
Yep.
people.
Yeah, it's worth
know,
investing.
You
It's
know,
worth investing.
my wife and I, we read books, and there's some. In fact, for the first 5 years, 10 years in our marriage, I don't think we really read any book together
About
about marriage.
marriages or
You
so.
understand?
No.
Yeah.
We took what we got from the inception,
yeah.
and we continue with our life with our perception. And then when we realized we had it wrong so many places, we realized, hey, we need to adjust. And trust me, there's nothing new under the sun. The
Yeah.
information
That's right.
Yeah.
that works. Principles works. And
Yes.
God don't make joke.
That's
right.
He not a God that lie. When you get down into the word, sometimes he challenge you as a man.
Oh, yeah.
You know the Bible says what? Men should love their wife as
Wives,
Christ loved the church and
give
give himself.
himself,
Yeah. Some men, when they say give yourself, Some men struggle with giving themselves, loving her like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Honey, he said, easy, I can't do that. But you're married.
That's when you get the honey.
That's right.
You understand? No? You make your wife smile a lot, you know. But guys, listen. God is going to challenge you as a husband. Because you know why? You are the leader in the home.
Yeah.
And this is a call now for men to understand who they are. Your responsibility. When you don't know your responsibility, sometimes you allow the enemy to just creep in.
Yeah.
You know, and he will attack you when he wants to get to your wife. And sometimes when he wants to get to you, he'll attack your wife.
That's right.
So you have to understand you are two, not one.
That's right.
Ways to function. If you always think
You're one,
this is
not
a
two.
principle, you're one, not two. See what I'm talking about? So when you go off, she will correct you.
That's right.
Understand?
That's right.
She listening. So when them thing happen, your wife correct you. You can see ego dropping on you. He's a man. Oh, who's you? As the leader in this house. As the man. No, brother. No, brother. When the night time come, you won't go to China.
No.
You understand?
No.
You have to understand. You have to humble on yourself.
Yep.
You understand? And the wife respect you.
Yeah.
She cares for you. She wants the
That's right.
best for you.
That's right.
And that's what it should be. Sometimes it's not that, but if you can get to that place where it is that,
Yep.
you will have sweet
Oh, yeah.
communion.
Heaven and earth.
Can I-
In the
can I-
heaven and earth.
Can I just add one of the things that I believe will really help married couples is communication is
Awesome.
a serious issue when it
Oh,
comes
yes.
to being able to enjoy our sex life as well.
Yeah.
'Cause so many people speak at such a shallow level
Mm-hmm.
that they're not, if a woman doesn't feel that she can trust you
Mm-hmm.
with her story, with her life, some of the issues that she's been
Or
through in her
dreams.
life, her hopes or dreams or fears, then you ain't getting everything. There's still she will hold back some. And so, one thing that I really encourage couples to do is to really work on their the communication and to, the problem that we have sometimes is that you can't, if there is, for instance, if your spouse is immature, then you may feel that you can't share certain information. So that's like a withholding, not just of information, but withholding of the body as well. And I think something that we didn't quite cover was the withholding of the body
Yeah.
Right.
is very serious business. That's something that we don't ascribe to. We don't encourage couples to do. It's
What
really
is, yeah.
dangerous. It's something that when it comes to that, you have a problem, and I'd encourage you to get some counsel or
Well, call us.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And some of the things, I like the idea.
Before you
of,
go on, though, regarding the conference, the seminars that you have, right? You can always send us information, or if you have a flyer,
Yeah.
we can share it on our programs and
Yeah.
so.
right.
All right,
Yes,
because
yes.
I don't think you even mentioned the police and
Yeah.
the
Okay.
time and all of that.
Right.
So people would need to know.
6:30, and it's down on the stretch,
7 o'clock,
Morris
no,
Bishop
7.
Highway.
7:30.
This is 7 now.
Oh, 7 o'clock, sorry, they
Okay.
changed it. It was 6:30 last month. Now it's going to be 7 o'clock. Morris Bishop Highway in the
Baptist Church.
yes.
Okay.
So
But
on
you
the
will send it
27th.
for me,
we'll
and
send the
I'll,
information.
and I'll put it
Yes.
out. So only married couples out there. Is it only for married couples?
No, it's for
Right.
people who are preparing to be
For
married.
All right,
Awesome.
nice.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I sometimes my wife and I we sat back and we say, boy, we wish we knew something we
A lot
knew
of-
now
yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
You
yep,
know?
Yep.
We marriage classes together, courses, with persons who know what they're talking about. And when you hear certain information, it's like,
We wish we knew.
you're reading a book. you're reading a book with your husband or with your wife, and when information show up and it robs you.
Yep.
Sometimes there's an area where you have it wrong, but
Yep.
and then it's like that information is like no, you need to have a discussion.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It makes you bond and it cleans up a lot of things in your
That's right.
past
Yeah.
sometimes that
That's-
can
that's right.
that is causing your marriage not to flow, not to fly,
Yep.
not to fly.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So you need to make sure. We talk about the type of things you're allowed to entertain you. I was writing a song the other day, and I would say, be careful. You know, people don't use television too much, they use phone. So I said, be careful. I like these songs to be careful of the things when you scroll and you stop and you bow down too. And the thing is, most people don't realize it, we always in a posture bowing and looking at a phone.
Yeah.
So it's like, careful what you're worshiping, brother.
Yeah.
Wow. Sometimes the things you're looking at, it's something that is really not good for your soul.
That's right.
So you need to be aware of that. Yeah, because that thing can come into your relationship and affect it. Yeah. So you have to be on guard. You have to be on guard. Anything else you want to add there? So you coming up to week time.
So we said pray together, read together, attend seminars together.
Go to church.
Yes, go to church together. Go places. Spend time together.
Yeah, I say go to church. I say go to church because more time some relationship. Boy, oh God, the men or women. Sometimes you have a husband alone going to church. I don't want to rub the other way too much tonight. Yeah. But sometimes you have a husband and the children go to church and the wife ain't going.
Yeah.
You understand? Every Sunday she's tired, she's sleeping in the bed, I was reading a story about her recently, and the man said, the wife tried to blame him. Yeah. But in the end it turned out one day God rebuked her and she felt the rebuke and she had to get up and go to church. Yep. Because he said to her, when I die and I go to heaven, it'll be a different scenario. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's dream, boy. So try new things. But make sure whatever you're trying, it please God.
Please God.
Yeah? We want to try to wait.
I wanted to add one other thing that is really good for married couples is to wash each other's feet.
Right.
Wash each other's feet.
I got one the other day, but that feel good.
I know.
Very just I get one the other day, but I got my toenail clean.
That's right.
And I wouldn't lie, it felt good.
Praise God.
Anything else you want that? Celebration? Celebrate each other?
I want to find out I think we need to listen to each other.
Listen
to each other. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. And really see because one thing we do, we ask each other, what can I do to make it better? So rather than complaining, ask, what can I do to make it better?
Right.
And sometimes I give my wife advice. I say, okay, I say, we went to something somewhere in Africa, something. And I said, I want you to do that. She said, why? I said, just do that and let's see how things will work. Because you will feel comfortable enough to share and feel the person to say, you know what, if we do that together, this is what you don't want to do something just because you want it,
right?
But if you think it benefits both of us,
right,
then let's try it. Because if you watch something and you think, okay, because just like when you were quoting, you see something and like it, you want to share.
Yes.
So now we have to share. But now when people get married, they just want to, you eat for yourself, you eat for yourself, share together. I'm telling you,
have a meal together as a family, man.
Yep.
Time together.
Yep.
Let me before we wrap up there. There's a question I saw. I think it was my friend Nash. Let me see if I can find it. Although we have someone asking to pray for them. Sorry, not this one. Asking for prayer. And there was a question. So there's another question. Let's deal with this one here still. Whilst I find the next one. This have you read it so I can search it in the meantime.
All right. So we know that sex before marriage is wrong. But how will one know if him or her can really do it good if you don't try it first?
Oh, no.
Please don't hold me in my truth for this question, but give me your honest opinion.
Yeah, well, I would say that. I mean, I understand where the person coming from, but, this thing is so serious. It's not a car you buy. You could try out. You say you go and try it out. There's a song. I think some people listen to the wrong sort of song too.
Yeah.
And we are very careful we listen to. There's a song that's go, there's a driver's license, there's a lover's license, just like a driver's license. You get a learner's permit when you practice the thing to do, and at the night of the exam, you fall in love with the woman. Now, if you listen to the song, it will make you feel that you have to test it out. I don't think God intended that. Because, I mean, one thing we said, when you honor God, he honor you. Before we came together, before we got married, we never even kissed. And I'm telling you, all now, we are honeymoon. Because the honey is there in the moon.
All right.
No, I'm not saying that we didn't know sex out of marriage.
Right.
But to each other, we were virgin to each other.
Nice.
The thing about it is that I don't think you have to try anything out to say, okay, well, let me see how it's going to work. Because that's you relying on yourself. But if you trust God and you honor God, then He will make you enjoy it. Because what we're enjoying there now is not because we try this and try that and try it. No, we enjoy it because we do it God way. And as I said, when God sprinkles something over it, it's lovely. When He sprinkles sauce, my God, it's lovely.
Jesus juice.
Yeah, Jesus. Jesus juice. Oh, yeah.
And you know, if I take a shot at that, my wife and I also, we never had sex until we got married, was we were dating.
That's
you
right.
understand? Was it easy? Sometimes it wasn't that easy. You understand?
For nobody.
Let's be real, it wasn't that easy. But it is an awesome thing, when you are married. But one of the things I've learned to, is, and again, I advise people, be prepared for marriage.
Yeah.
Information will help you make good decision.
That's right.
Sometimes based on the information you receive, you may not want to be married to that individual. Again, you will save yourself a lot of pain in the future.
Yeah.
That's right.
Seek God. Let God. You see, if God is not in it, marriage is not about me and you. It's
No.
about me, you, and God.
God, that's right.
So you can't exclude God. So if
Nope.
He's the one making the choice for you, and you are allowing Him, His will to be your will, when that is being done, then you're in a good place. Because God don't make no mistake. No, this may sound like, oh, it's just mysterious, or they just throw it in the air. No, it's a real thing like faith that you can't see, but you have to believe. You
Yeah,
understand?
that's right.
And then God
That's
will
right.
work it out
That's
for you. So
But
that.
you want to honor God's way. You'll be tested when you want to honor God.
Yep.
Let me just say that briefly, that when we were quoting, we didn't have much time because she was in England. We're 4,000 miles away. Yeah, most of our quoting was online. But when we got a 2 weeks break when she came here, and you have to know what to do. Now, I remember she called me by her father's house one day, and the father left us. Now, so some people, they think that's an opportunity, but it's a setup.
Yeah.
And the Pentecostal church was next door. So she said to me, help her wash. You know when you're washing clothes, she had on a linen something. When your clothes wet and it stick onto you, you see inside, you see in China on a picture before you fly. Like you see in China on YouTube before you fly. So, and I'm thinking, I felt my body such changing. Then we went and she showed me some album where they used to go and go on the beach. Now when you're watching beach thing, come on, you've seen certain things.
Yes.
Let's be real.
Yes.
It is that. And I said to her, the Lord said to me right there, because the Bible says, in every temptation, God make a way for escape. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
If you listen to him,
Amen.
the Lord said to me, I brought her to you. Let me see if you go honor her or honor me. And I said to her, look at her, I said to her, babe, see you in church
tonight.
See you in church
Yeah.
tonight. And I left. Now, that physically, that was not easy.
Yeah.
But you want to do the right thing. I'm telling you, now we just drinking from the salsa.
Yeah. No restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take this question here also. Say, what about the Lord said the woman has no power over the body, likewise the man over his body? So they're talking about this portion. I guess when we were talking about the whole idea, can a man rape his wife or so?
Yeah.
That person had that question there.
Okay.
There was there was somebody who asked for prayer.
Yeah, we will get to that, but
Okay.
that
As we
person was
wrap up.
asking that question.
Okay.
I think a lot of times people confuse what real submission is.
Yeah.
Submission is not taking advantage.
That's
It's-
right.
If you want to say mutual consent and understanding, there's a lot of things that goes, a lot of ingredients that make submission works.
That's
You
right.
understand?
That's
and
right.
if you just take things, okay, the body is mine, so I could just take it and do what I want with it. That could be a problem.
Benjamin.
You understand? So
God wants you to care for what is yours.
Basically.
That's right.
Not abuse
not
it.
not just take it and misuse it.
Yep.
Just
Now
because.
we should cherish it.
You understand?
You know the question what the lady asked about how would you know if you don't test it. I think that many times a lot of young people who are single, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying that many times a lot of young people who are single seem to have the notion that marriage is sex, and that's the be all and end all.
Clarify.
And you know, they're not thinking about anything else other than
Yeah.
I've got to get this thing. I've got to, you know. But there's so many other factors that you need to we need to consider when we're thinking about marriage.
That's right.
And I think that if you focus on that alone, you're going to be in serious trouble, because there's a time comes, sometimes it's, the sex is dry, sometimes it's wet, sometimes, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's, and if you go in wanting it in a certain way and a certain how and a certain, you're going to be really disappointed. So I would say that, yes, sex is important, but it's not the most important part of marriage.
All right. Well, awesome.
We have come to the end of our discussion for
just
tonight.
like that. I tell you, this discussion ain't finished.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
our time is up, but maybe we can just the
one for
individual, the one
Yes.
for prayer. Did she say what she wanted
didn't
us
say
to
for
pray?
what exactly.
Yeah.
She
But
just
there was
asked
a
prayer.
It is
She just say pray for her, please.
all right. So
Or
maybe
keep her in prayer.
Keep her in prayer. That's
Yeah.
all.
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So maybe we can just give some closing comments and then pray for this lady as we close off for tonight.
Yeah. Closing
So
remarks.
we'll start with the
Well, I would say, I was just looking at the screen and somebody say, get married for the right purpose.
Yeah. I
Right
like
reason.
that.
Right reason.
Yeah.
And that would be my closing remarks. That you get married for the right reason.
All right, Jesus.
And then you'll enjoy sex.
Mhm.
Don't get married for sex.
Amen.
Don't get married for food. Don't get married for money.
Yeah.
Get married for love.
All right.
And love is giving of oneself for the betterment of the other
Yeah,
person with no ulterior motive or precondition.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really, I was reading 1 Corinthians 13 just last night to my daughter. I say, wow, Daddy, love is not selfish. It doesn't think, And when you really get that, your mindset will be to improve the next person, or to enhance the next person's life, or to live them. And then when you do that and they do that, two of us are going up to heaven.
And I love what you just said. You see, that's why we as men have to teach our children the right thing. You see, because of the information you didn't receive when you're young,
Yeah.
you grow up with a lot of misconceptions.
That's right.
And that is where you have a lot of problems stemming from.
Yes.
But we have a responsibility as men, as women, as husbands and wives to teach our children, not just show them,
Yep.
but to tell them what God word says. Many times parents they get at the end product, but they don't get at the process.
That's
How to process the child. I don't know if process is the right word, but where you can get that right information inside the child's heart
Yep.
and not just in the head. There's a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
You understand? Because when you love the Lord with your heart, it's a different scenario with
Yeah.
just knowing what God would say.
That's
You
right.
understand?
That's
So
right.
the
That's right.
information we need to give our children is to the heart. We need to build them up from young. I just wanted to put that there.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it will save the children a lot of heartache in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you meet somebody who's unequally yoked, is the spot.
That's right.
You
That's right.
understand?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
The spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to just say that I really hope after this program that, because sometimes in sessions like this, God is speaking to us. And I would say if God has spoken to you and there's something that you need to address, I really encourage you to do that, because, it means that God is concerned about you and he's concerned about your spouse. So it's really important that when we hear something and it really kind of touches a knob, we need to do what we have to do. So I really hope that this program tonight has caused somebody to see things differently,
Right.
particularly because for me, it seems to me that there's that scripture, her body's mine and his body's mine, so I can just do what I want.
yeah.
I think we've got to have the right understanding of that, so that we're not abusing or that we're not taking our spouse for granted. And also the question that came up about whether or not a woman could be raped in marriage. I think, yes, there's some people who still don't believe that can happen, and they will just continue on and, living with somebody who's not satisfied or not happy in the marriage because of the way that they're being treated. And I really hope that tonight somebody, that their marriage would change for the better. because of, you know, what I believe God has wanted to expose on this forum tonight.
Amen. Amen. My closing remarks will be this, and that's what's in my heart. Marriage needs constant maintenance for it to work properly. It doesn't matter about how old you are and you think you arrive and you know it all. There's always an area you need to keep maintaining. You understand? You have to pay attention to. And trust me, with the Holy Spirit, He's the best mechanic.
Yes.
I speak these thumbs tonight. You might have me sound like an engineer.
That's right.
My brother have me singing like an engineer tonight.
That's right.
But you need the Holy Spirit, you need God's Spirit in your relationship. There are times when your wife or your husband might be feeling a way. Now, God has done something very special for me with my wife, and she and I don't know, like I just know what's going on in this girl's head without she even saying it. And I'll say, "What's up with you? You're having some thoughts there. What's going on there?" You know? And I say, "Sure," because the way I feel, you understand? It's so strong that the bond, and that didn't come just like that.
That's right.
That was when I opened up as a man, show my vulnerable spots.
That's right.
You understand?
Yes.
Become real. Even though it was hard to do, because, you know, we as men have this ego and this pride. We try to look good, but really and truly, we ain't really good until we open up and say, here's what, this is the real me. You know, so you want to let down all these guards that you have all around there that is not helping you. A lot of men are scared, you know, to say, some men right now, they're probably struggling with pornography still. Some young woman out there who married, you still have a deal do under your bed. You have these things working against you, you know, and you're trying to figure out, well, how come my husband can't satisfy me? It's because of you. And husband is because of you. So you need to go to God, be open, be real, you know what I mean? And God will work it out for you. Some people not communicating enough. Some of you arguing more than you're communicating.
That's right.
You understand? You had to drop that and let God have His way in your life, you know, and He'll make a difference. So much I can say, but for time's sake, Lady Sabi.
I'm going to say one of the things that really stood out to me is to be open, this open communication. You need to communicate things you see happening, things you don't like, things you like. You need to speak to each other. Speak. Tell your husband, I enjoy this. Tell your wife, you don't like this. Tell them, all right, they're not God. They can't interpret your mind. All right, although my husband says he doesn't know what's going on. I think it's a new level. It's a new level. And I understand what he's saying because over time you would get to understand the way your wife moves or your husband moves. You understand that this is what's going on.
Fellas.
Yes, pay attention. It's like you're learning. You learn a lot over time, and then you know. So spend time together. That's important to me. Spending time together. You can't expect to be working morning, noon, and night, as we usually say. You're working, and you have no time for your wife. You have no time for your husband. You're trying to make an extra dollar to pay the bills, but you have no time for each other. That, trust me, you might have the money, but you don't have the wife.
That's right.
Over time.
You don't have the husband too.
You might not have the husband.
It's true.
All right.
Make time.
So the overworking might make you sick, or it might pull you apart. It might create divorce. It might bring us. Listen. Let's be open. Let's work on it. Let's work on it. Work on it. Let's work on that. Let's work on the marriage. Let's work on it, right? So we hope that tonight I learned a lot.
Yeah.
All right. I think we all did. It was enjoyable. It was great conversation, and I know that somebody out there learned something and can benefit from this, whether married or not. All right. I honestly, as my husband said, a lot of the things that I know now, I wish I knew then. Before we were married, early marriage, I wish I knew. A lot of mistakes made could have been avoided. A lot of things, that happened could have been avoided if we knew what we know now. But blessings to all of you. Thanks for joining us on Becoming One. Remember, we'll be back again next month, second Friday in November.
What are we going to be talking about?
All right. It's whatever we're going to be talking about. It's going to be exciting. So don't miss it. Don't miss
the
it.
interesting part is that we don't choose the topic. Trust me, it's not so easy to find topics to talk about, but
it's going to be interesting.
God places it in our hearts and we just flow.
Amen.
So guys, brother and sister Regis, I want to say thank you
so
very
much.
much
It's a
for
pleasure.
Yes.
I enjoyed
taking the time. I'm happy you're here and you're not home, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
We
it's
enjoyed the
really-
conversation.
Hopefully, if my brother is Irie and he says he feel what we feel, he might want to have a next session, but we can do it differently, where we're going to talk about it, but we want to talk about it with you guys. So we're going to let you call in and ask the question. We're going to put something forward. What do you think about that?
We'll see. We have to talk about it.
I just
No,
know-
well, I'm the kind of person I like to plan and know what I'm doing first.
That's
Me
a
too,
woman.
me
That's
too.
a woman. Something.
Yeah, I need to know.
You understand what's going
So
on, right?
he's trying to throw on me what we're doing now, but I need to think about it first.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. I hear you.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. Really
So
a
my
pleasure.
friend says, here's what, folks, like this video and share this message. All right?
Yes.
Share this message. I like that one. All right, guys. So do have yourself a splendid night again, and thank you for taking the time that you spent with us, you the viewers and the listeners, wherever you guys listening from. We appreciate you as usual. You know, and want to say God bless you, Sister Regis is now telling us that her time is here.
Becoming one. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One.